Okay, finally we're live. Had a few little technical difficulties because today we are going to bring on Sir Charles, formerly the artist formerly known as Bum Gun Chuck. He'll be coming on talking about his next trip to Thailand, which he has already arranged. He's set everything up, and it's just a matter of getting his act together and doing what he needs to do. So that's one of the things we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about what he's going to have to go through to get here, what he thinks about the current state of Thailand. You might be surprised. We're going to talk about the bar scene, which is obviously very important to tourism and to many people here. We're also going to talk about the flooding and a few other things that might affect your trip here. Gotta get that coffee down. Before I go on any further, please do me a favor. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already done so. Check down in the description for all the ways you can help support the channel. And don't be shy. Come in and say your piece. Like I said, today we're going to have Mr. Chuck come in. I think once a week we'll have him come in, and we'll have somebody else come in, maybe Soy Dog Cowboy or some other special guest. I am going to try to arrange a filmmaker who is based here in Thailand for the next couple of years. But there's a lot that we have to go over, a lot that I'm gonna do, and we have planned. To give you an example, tomorrow we're going to the ancient city, and by we I mean you all, and I also mean Mr. Billy, also known as Longhorns. We may be going to Kanchanaburi and also Pattaya not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. Possibly Chantaburi. And then there's a few other places that I want to go to, especially after November 1st, because I want to start seeing if it means anything that this place is opening up. Because apparently, if you listen to some people, things are good. They're getting much better. And if you listen to others, there's no way in hell they're coming here. So stay tuned. But the first thing that I wanted, hello everybody, Sawadee Cup, Sawadee Tong Chow, Sawadee Sabaydi my cup. I should be speaking a little more Thai in this on the channel, really, to be honest. All right, so let me see where I'm at here. Now, an article today out of Bangkok Jack, BangkokJack.com, is titled "Bangkok Bars Battle to Beat the Booze Ban." Now, we all know that, well, if you know anything about Thailand, you know that most places in Thailand are very, very resourceful, especially when it comes to earning their money from alcohol, even though there is a ban. I was thinking about it, and while it's not completely a prohibition, you know, the Thai government has always been a bit stodgy, a bit difficult about alcohol. They've got this mentality that they need to govern who drinks, how they drink. And I don't understand it, because I can tell you that I've been around some people who are fairly affluent in my life here. I've been around a few Thais here and there, and they like to drink. Now, that doesn't mean they like to go out and get shit-faced. I don't want to give the wrong impression. However, for them to even for them to uh, just have these hours that booze can be sold, not sold, to me is uh, it's far too restrictive for the payoff that I believe is they ought to concentrate on getting people to drive properly while they're sober as opposed to worrying about whether they can go out and buy a six pack of beer at 2:01 p.m., something like that. So, uh, the long and short of it is that now, because the bars are closed, they're not obviously not allowed to sell booze. This is 7 months. It's 7 months now. Okay. Now let me get into this here. As gin bottles gather dust, a Bangkok bar owner is trying to keep his joint going through a COVID booze ban with fruity mocktails seasoned with kratom, uh, which is they just legalized that. I don't know all the specifics about it, but they just legalized it, and now they're making cocktails, mocktails. There's no booze in them. Seasoned with kratom, a recently decriminalized tropical herb. The Thai capital's once legendary nightlife has been hammered by a ban on alcohol service imposed to curb the coronavirus, leaving pub and bar owners with a major headache. I would dare say that these are the kind of things when you say, "Oh well, sorry, you have a liquor, an establishment that sells liquor, and now you can't sell it anymore simply because we have this pandemic." And right now, I think the worst of it, hopefully, is over, and they're still not letting them sell. This is the kind of thing that I think drives people to. First of all, they get angry. First, I think they're frustrated, then they get angry, and then who knows what they do. But I can tell you that suicide rates are up here. People don't generally talk about this in Southeast Asia, but in Thailand also, obviously. And they're finally, the health department and various organizations are finally coming out saying that we need to get past this stigma and start to do things like work on mental health, because mental health is a big issue in Thailand. But let me go on here. Thailand has around 1.7 million infections, the lion's share since April, when the government called last orders after an outbreak traced to a cluster of high-end nightclubs. With no government support, bar owners have been left with the choice of struggling to survive, flouting the prohibition rules, or getting creative. Beyond the pandemic, bar-hopping gin lovers flock to Teens of Thailand, a lively cocktail bar on the fringe of Bangkok's Chinatown. I've never seen that. I don't know why. Have you tried kratom? No, I have not. I have not tried it. Maybe I will at some point. Carl, how you doing? I have not tried it. I'm game. Let's see here. New Teens has reopened at 60% capacity, serving mocktails made with kratom, a leaf from the coffee family, long used in parts of Southeast Asia as a mild stimulant. Kratom, which stimulates the same brain receptors as morphine, but with much milder effects, came off the Thai government's banned list in August. The move through Teens owner Nix Anumin Razadon a lifeline, though kratom mocktails sell for just $4 compared with regular gin and tonics at $11. $11? Now this is a Thai club, a Thai bar. And you think about that, that's, 350, 370 baht, which brings me to today's information here. The Thai baht is now 33.28 to the dollar, which is, the dollar's a bit weaker or the baht is a bit stronger, but the number's down, and that's not so good. Air quality index 53, which is moderate. The temperature right now is 79 degrees, high of 90, low of 76. The feel like temperature is 84. So it is getting a bit cooler now, which is finally. 10% chance of rain, 79% humidity, and 0 wind. There's absolutely no wind out right now. And so that's where we stand for the day. I'd like to give a big shout out to everybody, all those who help support the channel through Patreon, through PayPal, through buying t-shirts. Thanks to all the people who bought t-shirts yesterday and the day before. Appreciate that. You get yours just down in the description. You can get, there's several versions of an American in Bangkok t-shirt, and there's several others as well, including the Illogical Logic t-shirt and the Farang Lives Matter, which I can't believe, but I've had some comments, not from people who follow the channel so much, but several others who are like, you can't say that. I'm like, says who? You can't put that on a shirt. Yes, I can. And I did, and I will. And thank you to those who support me through the Cash App and the occasional person who sends me some crypto. And let's see, what else? Through the sponsorship of the YouTube channel, I appreciate that. Thank you. I believe that would be Gennaro. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think it is. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say it is. Thank you very much, Mr. Gennaro. There you go. Okay. Choke D. Appreciate that very much. Now, like I said, we are going to have Chucky in a few minutes. He'll be in about 10 minutes. That is, let me see something. He's not come in yet. Let me see if there's any problems. Yes, we can't forget the Buy Me a Rap God. Buy Me a Rap God instead of Buy Me a Coffee. The link is down below, and I do have a couple of people that have helped me through there, and I appreciate that. And also the members of my website. So thank you very much. Listen, I put up a link to a video yesterday. Really good video. It's a bit sad. You're going to have to, I'm not going to say it made me cry. I'm not going to go that far. But excellent documentary, and it was about working women in, and I mean as in working girls, in Thailand, Bangladesh, and also Mexico. They concentrated, I don't know where they were, but it was a soapy in Thailand. And this is 10 years old now, this documentary. And then also in Bangladesh, in, what was the name of that area? Let me see if I can find it real quick. And then in La Zona, in Reynosa, Mexico. Let's see here. Does it tell me? Well, I didn't put it in there. Anyway, so Thailand, Bangladesh, and Mexico. And it was very interesting because this director and filmmaker who passed away a few years after this movie suddenly, and he's an excellent filmmaker. His name is Michael Glawager, and I put the link up. It's in the community tab. If you go to the community tab, you'll see it. I also put it up on my Patreon and in my on my website. You're gonna have to go back to YouTube. It'll take you back to YouTube. It'll give you the right one, because there are many just little clips of it, like 1 minute clips, 2 minute clips. There's also a lot that the captions are in Russian or in some other language, but the one I have, the captions are in English, and it's almost 2 hours long. And I'll tell you what, I watched the whole thing the first time straight through, and it was very, very good. It gave quite a bit of insight, and it tells you, if you really want to get an idea, if you don't know already, how some Thai girls think about money and about life in general, take a look at that video. I gotta say that, they were always concerned about having enough money, having enough money, having enough money, and yet they were going pissing it away on like guys that they, I don't know for whatever reason, but they were going to these boy bars to get these good-looking guys, and they're pissing their money away on these guys, which that's something that happens here. The girl finds a guy and he's really cute, but he doesn't have a pot to piss in, and they throw it all away on him. He doesn't earn any money, and or he's earning money in a boy bar, and he's basically just using them and making them pay for it. He's just kind of like, it's the reverse role. And it was very interesting. So, and I got to tell you that, I've had some conversations with Thai women in the past few days, but one in particular that she said to me, "Oh, I thought all foreigners want to just have their girl with them all the time, and they don't want their girl to work, and they just want to take care of them." And I was like, "Say what?" I was like, "What, you think that what are you going to give them? What is it that you're going to give them that's so valuable? The little triangle?" I mean, because really, they're giving you something too, so maybe you should think about that. And she was like, "Oh, well, yeah, let's see here if I can do this here." She didn't really have a clue, and so that I found that to be kind of enlightening, because I was like, wow, they really still believe that, like, and she was under the impression that foreigners had no clue that, in many relationships with Thais, but Thai, that they work with each other and they help each other in whatever way they can for the benefit of their family. And the thing is she didn't have a guy. She was 40 years old and she didn't have a guy. So listen, Bumgun Chuck, aka Chubby Nick Nolte, or as Richard, who every time I'm going to have Chuck in, Richard doesn't come in. I don't know why. Maybe he's shy. But he calls him Chunky. Now, I don't know if I would call Sir Charles chunky. He's a bit chubby, but chunky's a different kind of. Was the Bangladesh location a big, like, truck stop or nothing? No. It definitely was not. It was a little area with 600-700 girls living in the area there, where they all had their little mama-sans, and that's where all the guys went to go. And it's, I mean, you're talking about like a Klong Toi kind of place. I mean, not the kind of place you really want to go, and I don't know. It's not the kind of place where you probably want to be whipping out your tool and getting naked. It's a bit of a shithole, to put it politely. Well, he is now knighted. Bumgun Chuck is now knighted as Sir Charles because he has used the bidet, and he has finally, after going to, I don't know, I'm going to have to ask him how many countries he's been to. But he has now finally, after going to all these countries, used the water to clean the nether regions, and therefore we affectionately call him Sir Charles. And by the way, speaking of Sir Charles, he and I are at least in the preliminary stages of some kind of trip to the stands. Now, obviously, Thailand's going to have to get a little bit better. There's going to have to be a few changes that take place before I decide to get out of this country. And I also would like to go visit my family. So there's a lot going on. Hopefully, in the next year, and in the next week, in the next few months, and in the next year, there'll be a lot of things going on. And if you look at now, the channel's been up what? I think it's 8 years. More than 8 years. Supposedly after 10 years you should be able to do much better. And it might take me that long. I don't know. But over the 8 years, 8.5 years, I've taken a lot of trips in it. The channel, if it does anything, it shows me all the places I've gone and what I've done at certain times of my life, and how I looked then and now. My wife is like, look at you now, you're like an old man, you got gray hair everywhere, and not like before. So anyway, I want to make sure that Chucky, where are you, Chucky? Can you come into the green room? We're going to have Chuck for a limited amount of time, 15, 20 minutes. What we're going to do is, like, once a week we'll have a little segment where we bring somebody in, whether they be an expat or big, massive superstar or something like that. Once a week we'll do that. So maybe next week we'll get Soy Dog Cowboy or somebody else. I don't know. It depends on who's available and all that kind of stuff. Longhorns doesn't ever want to be on. He's probably fast asleep right now. So we're waiting for Sir Charles to come in. But let me get back to this little article until he rears his face. Okay, so we were talking about the Kratom mocktails that sell for $4 instead of Kratom mocktails for $4 instead of regular gin and tonic at $11. We don't have any choice. 15 to 20% of income is enough to pay the team, pay rent. That's it. The industry collapse. Draconian travel curbs imposed to fight the coronavirus have battered the economy in Thailand, where tourism accounted for nearly 20% of the national income pre-pandemic. Visitor numbers have collapsed from nearly 40 million to a trickle, leaving the hospitality industry struggling to survive. Thank you very much, Mr. Elwee. Appreciate that. Good to see you. I'm 50% more gray than you, and I'm only in my 40s. Yeah, well, I mean, man, it's come on quickly. It's come on quick. I mean, I have it all under here now, and it's in my hair and in my chest. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't fight it. That's the way. It doesn't bother me all that much. It's just a different period of time in my life. Thanakorn Kuptajit, the head of the Thai Alcohol Beverage Business Association, told local media he expects a 50% drop in the value of the $9 billion sector as a result of the ban. Denied government support and forbidden to serve drinks in-house, bars and pubs are also banned from selling alcohol online. As a result, some landlords in Bangkok have resorted to flouting the ban, serving booze discreetly in plain coffee mugs or soft drink cans. But for those who played by the rules, it's been a tough year. In the upmarket expat hotspot of Tonglor, the co-owner of WTF Gallery Cafe, Chris Wise, says his business has been boarded up since April. A handyman, 2 bar staff, and an assistant have lost work or been at reduced pay. WTF, which marked its 10th birthday earlier this year, is gearing up to reopen this week, October 21st, with the launch of the new Thai art exhibit and tapas menu. That's a good idea. anything, anything to help get you by. Every little bit helps. That's what I always say. Why do you think I'm constantly at it? Because every $5, every $2, every 10, 20 bucks, all that adds up. And for these guys, it helps them, it helps them stay open. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha gave the industry some hope last week, announcing that as part of a reopening the kingdom to the tourism, the government plans to lift the alcohol ban in December. But Wise warned that with customer numbers reduced and less disposable income, the road to recovery will be long. Well, I've been saying that. And the problem, as I see it, is that the tourist industry has basically taken a big dump. And I don't know that in some areas it's going to recover. It's going to take quite some time to recover. So if you got a tourism industry that's functioning at, say, 70% instead of 100%, it's going to make things more difficult for tourists, which might tend to piss them off or frustrate them or irritate them. Or, there might be longer lines, longer waits. You can't get into this place, can't get into that place, Sacrifice years of prosperity for young people to attempt to save 1 or 2 years for grandma and grandpa. Is it worth it? I don't know. If I buy a bar, will you be my papa son? No. Sorry, I don't think you can pay me enough. How long? 2024. No, I don't think it'll be that long. I think it's going to take years for things to get back to anywhere close to normal, and I think maybe some of these restrictions and rules are going to stay in force, maybe for good, who knows. But I think it's going to take, it's all next year will be spent recovering, rebounding, coming back, having a spike, worrying, wondering, oh, we need to shut this down, we need to do this, we need to do that, oh, now you can't come in. I think it's going to be just like the Thai government, which is, Friday morning, everything's great. It looks like there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then by Friday afternoon, you're going, wait a minute, there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I think that's how it's going to be. Build back better. Yeah, all right, so let me see what's going on with Chucky, because Chucky, this is not have it your way at Burger King. Ordering coffee, be on soon. Chucky, when I tell you to come on at 8:30, normally a professional will come on at 8:30. He would not come on whenever the hell he wants. I got a schedule to tend to, remember? You and I have talked about that. He and I have talked about this. We need to schedule the timing. Boom, boom, boom. You do a little segment on this, then you do a segment on that. You bring somebody on for 20 minutes, boom, you get off with them, and then you get finished with them, and you move on to the next segment, and then your 2-hour show is over. But when I have people like Chucky who they move at their own pace, you remind me of Alex. You tell him, hurry up. I am hurrying. No, you're not. You're moving in slow motion. And then I got to see his ass crack, which I don't want to see today, Chucky. It ain't going back to normal. It's vaccine or nothing. There you go. Vaccine or nothing. That's about how it is. You're not going to get into this country if you're not vaccinated. At least not in the next few years. We are at war. I don't know if I would call it a war. There's all kinds of wars going on. There's the media war. There's, yeah, well, he's not allowed to do that, see? And he's not preparing his coffee. He's ordering his coffee. I don't order my coffee unless I'm at the Starbucks, which I didn't want to go to today because I got too many things to do, and I have to prepare for tomorrow, which is at the ancient city. Yeah, I understand. You can enter unvaccinated, but you're going to have to quarantine. So go for it. Do that. See what happens. See what happens when you try to get into a place and they pull that shit where they go, well, sorry, we're only allowing quarantined people in. You know, I mean, hey, I don't know what to say at this point. You know, honestly, I still think that the vaccines are a good thing, uh, but I think that most people they don't want to come and quarantine for 10 days or 7 days or 14 days. And when I say most people, listen, Longhorns came in here and he did it. He did it because he was going to stay he knew he was going to stay for a few months. And so it wasn't that big of a deal. And I will say this, in many cases, it's better to be here in Thailand than it is to be in your own home country. I can't imagine how many Australians are just going to run to the airport and they're going to do anything they can to get the hell out of Oz because they don't want to deal with all the BS that's going on there. Anyway, listen, I have to reiterate, please leave a thumbs up. Do me that favor. Thumbs up. You got 54 people watching right now, which is a little below the average, but okay. There's only 16 thumbs up and 8 thumbs down, which the thumbs down come right at the beginning. As soon as anybody knows I'm coming online, they want to leave the thumbs down and hate on me, and that's fine. I don't really give a shit. Hate all you want. Because what happens, it's so funny because what happens every single time, I've looked at the numbers, is I get all these thumbs down, and then those thumbs down disappear. They disappear. Just like Donald Trump's COVID, but they actually do disappear. YouTube pulls them down because it's probably the same person leaving 5 thumbs down, just going in from account to account, or whatever the reason is. I don't really give a shit. It doesn't matter. But a thumbs up looks better than a thumbs down. You know. I am vaccinated, but yes, agree. Places will restrict the unvaccinated still. I arrived December 9th until April. Okay, good. That's good. Until April, so what are you going to do? I mean, how are you staying, or are you just getting a tourist visa and then extending, or what are you doing? How are you planning on doing that? My internet is extremely fast, but your link won't open. Well, that's why I asked you to come in early, Chuck, so that you could know if it was working or not. Come on, Chucky. All right, let me see if I can do this here. Give me 1 second here. 1 second. And hopefully this doesn't make a problem. There we go. Hopefully that will work. Let's see here. GLV. Yeah, well, it should work. I don't know. Always these technical difficulties. You know, I was on while we wait for Chuck, I was on this guy's show. It's been a couple of years now, probably 3-4 years. Peter Greenberg. And I talk about him every once in a while to Chuck. He used to be on CBS. He's this big, tall guy, booming voice, big, great radio voice. But apparently he was, he's done all kinds of things on radio, very well known. He asked me to be on his show for some reason. And so I went in and we basically went into this conference room at the Muse Hotel. I think that's what it's called. And really, really nice hotel. And actually, I had lunch there with Soy Dog Cowboy and one other person back a while ago. And he had this little setup. Now, he didn't have any video, but he had this setup, and he had this girl with him who was helping with everything. She answered. I mean, I wish I had this, but she answered all his emails. She did all kinds of things. She took care of all the logistics and getting everything set up. And he knew, pushed this button, pushed that button, everything works great. I wish I could get to that point. I'm not quite there yet. But let's see what Chucky has to say. If I can find him. Oh, here he is. Is this him? There we go. But your video's not showing, Chuck. Show your video. Let's see here. Chucky. Chucky. So I got my guest on, and my guest is, who knows what's going on. There we go.
I don't know why I still can't hear you.
Finally.
Sorry about that, Scott. Can you hear me?
I can't
Wave
hear
your
you.
hand if you can hear me.
No sound.
Let me see.
No sound.
I put it on mute and then I turned it back on, and that didn't change anything. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong. My internet is very fast.
Can anyone hear him? Because I don't hear him. You're hearing both. So it's on my end. So I am the computer illiterate. Okay, just hang on. Slowly, slow. We'll get to it. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So I don't know if you can hear me.
Go ahead. I think I can hear you now. All right, I can hear you well enough. I don't know what's going on. It's very difficult to use my phone. As the main video camera, as opposed to my laptop, but the internet is much better on the phone. It's not my bandwidth. I got plenty of bandwidth. What happened to my headphones?
So I can't hear you, Scott. I don't know if you can hear me, but...
All right, Chucky. You can't hear me? Can you hear me, Chucky? Chucky!
Yeah, my internet
is
super fast. I have 600. And I don't know if you guys can hear me, but when I look at you, Scott, you look choppy, but I don't know if that's sketchy. My phone.
It doesn't look sketchy on my end. That's why it's hard for me to tell.
I'm kind of confused. But overall, your video is totally acceptable. Are you able to hear me when I say this stuff?
I got nothing. Let me see something here.
Modern technology. Well, there I am.
Now I can hear you, Chucky.
So I can see you very clear, Scott, but I cannot hear you. Are you able to hear me? If you are, touch your beard. Wow, you can hear me. Wow.
Yes, Chuck, I can hear
God, I
you.
don't know what to do.
You should be able
Maybe
to hear
there's
me.
something in my settings or something, because this phone is new.
Possibly.
This is the first time I've used this phone.
Well, Chuck, that's why I asked you to come in a few minutes early, not dick around and get your coffee.
So I'm going to log out and
He
start all
can't
over
hear me.
again, okay? Huh?
All right, you do that.
And by the way, I hear something, but it sounds a, a like a waterfall or something, like staticky, something like that. So
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna log out and try to log back in again. Okay.
Okay. All right. 2 minutes when it's on a proper internet connection, those using a phone net setup. I'm using a phone with 4G that's very fast. He's not. He's using a slow connection, and I believe it is the software that is touchy. There we go. Yeah, okay. So anyway, he should be back on in a minute, but that's the way it goes. That's being live. That's what it's like being live. And tomorrow we're going to the ancient city. I have streamed there from before, and I didn't have any problems. I won't have anybody on with me. No, it's not StreamYard. It's not StreamYard. And StreamYard is no better than this service that I'm using. Yeah, we can hear both of you. You just can't hear each other. All right, let me see what he's doing here. And Chucky is. I am not the most uh, skilled when it comes to technology, although I can find my way around pretty easily most of the time. But it's things like this that sometimes take me a little while. And when you're live, you don't have that much time. People are waiting. But he is, I would say, he's a couple of notches down beneath me when it comes to his abilities with. I mean, he's got a new phone. That could be it. There could be all kinds of things. Anyway, we'll just figure it out one way or the other, or maybe we won't. But I want to know about his trip coming up. He's probably restarting his phone. So, anyway. Now, I was going to put this on, like my headphones on, but you know what? I don't need them. I don't need them. Let's see if I can. Okay, he's back on now, it looks like. All right.
Hey,
Can you hear
Scott.
me, Chucky?
So
Yes.
I still can't hear you, and I don't know why. Um, when I look at my microphone, the little VU meter that shows up and down, that
Yeah.
looks. I can when I'm talking, it works okay before you log in at that step. So, but if you can hear me, that makes sense. I'm just wondering why I can't hear you. It's very
You
strange.
don't have a microphone on or a charger on, do you?
So
Are you plugged into a. Hang on.
maybe you can send me
Are
a
you
message with an idea.
plugged into a power bank or do you have headphones plugged in or pods? All right, check that out.
I am not plugged into a power bank. Just my phone.
Yeah, I don't know, Chucky. That sucks. I tell you what,
Oh,
I
you know
will
what? That
write
could
to
be it.
you.
Let me see. Maybe it's somehow. Let me go into the Bluetooth settings and turn off the Bluetooth. Because maybe I don't have
Well,
my I don't have my
good
earplugs
idea,
with me.
Chuck.
But let me see.
That might work. Yeah, that might work, Chucky. See what I mean? Little things like that. And I mean, I make that
Okay,
mistake too sometimes where,
so I just turned off the Bluetooth, but I still
okay,
can't hear you. Maybe
why don't you do
let me
this,
log out
Chucky?
again because there was a setting
Wait, 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 wait,
that.
wait, wait, wait.
Oh, unfortunately.
Uh,
Okay, hang on.
Try listening to Spotify or YouTube to see if it works. We need to know that you can hear. Like, turn your sound up. Maybe your sound's all the way down.
Okay, I'll try YouTube.
Okay. Very good, Chucky. Very good. Well, I hope this is entertaining, at least a little bit. I hate this kind of stuff.
So, Scott, I have
There we
no
go.
problem with YouTube. I can hear it normally.
Okay, I hear you fine. I hear you. I'm gonna have to type
I
in.
tried my volume. My volume is up all the way.
Listen, your sound is
So
staticky.
I know you hear me, but I don't hear you. That's the issue.
Okay. Read chat. Who will talk this way? Okay. You can talk. I'll talk. You talk.
Maybe you
Back
could
and
just
forth.
ask me a question and I can try to answer it. Should I
What I'm
cancel
saying,
out?
Chuck. Okay, Chuck. Chuck, tell us about your upcoming trip to Thailand and what you think. There you go. Oh God. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna try something else here. I'm slightly frustrated. All right, let's see here. Here's another one. Okay. All right. How is that? There we go. Son of a bitch. Chuck, come on. Unbelievable. I just don't know what to say here. Well, I hope you guys are getting a laugh. I know there's an echo. Just take it easy. Let me see here. Yeah, they don't have for the. Let me see if I can get the audio. Let's see here. Settings. Okay. Audio status. Chucky, where did you go? All right. Well, listen, I'm not going to deal with this for very much longer. He can come back on. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, say la vie. You guys can hear me, correct? Let me try something else here. Maybe he's walking home or something. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Let me take this off here. How do I take this off? Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. Well, so much for Chucky, unfortunately. We always seem to have problems when he's out and about running around. When he's at home, it's like there's not much of a problem, but he likes to he no. He likes to be uh he likes to be out, and showing what's going on outside and stuff. And he just doesn't. He's not home. Chucky is a little social butterfly. He's always out meeting his friends, having Starbucks and that kind of stuff, kind of like me. So, hey, Dowlo, how you doing? Um, yeah, I don't want to talk about Joe Biden. Quite honestly, I don't need to talk about him. I don't live there. I frankly am so sick of hearing about all that shit going on over there. Uh, you know, Nothing I can say is going to do much about what's going on over there. So, anyway, I want to get back into this real quick here about to finish up here with the bar scene um, in Thailand. This guy says, I can't imagine it going back to what it was like pre-COVID. The Sanook enjoy, Mike and Rai, no worries, Sabaidi, relaxed life that Thais have is not coming back for a long time. It's a disaster. We have lost craftsmanship. We lost industry manpower. We lost good bars, good restaurants because of mismanagement from the government, he said, adding his best bartenders are now working in other industries. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Um, I'm talking about people who they just decide enough is enough. Why have my tour company making 30,000 baht when I can work for somebody else making 25,000, and I don't have the headaches? And if I lose that job, I'll go find another one. And so this is what's happening, and it's not only just I said the tourism industry, but obviously the bars and the restaurants in tourist areas are part of that. But this is what I've been saying from the beginning. I've been saying that eventually what's going to happen is everything's going to erode to the point where there's no coming back, and people are going to they're going to be like, why do I want to come back? Why do I want to start up another guest house? Why do I want to do this when I have to worry about the government at any time, on any whim that they may have, saying, hey, that's it, you guys are locked down, cannot sell anymore. For these pubs and the bars, I mean, imagine what pub is open without selling booze? What bar wants to be open with the patrons not able to have a beer? Even restaurants, people want to have a beer, they want to have wine, they want to have a cocktail with their meals sometimes. I mean, I'm not a big drinker, but I have drank, and I know that there are times when I just feel like after a long day, it's hot, you're out, you're running around all day, you're kind of like, listen, I'm just going to drink a beer with my dinner. It's going to taste really good because it's so cold. And then maybe I'll crash out, or maybe I'll go out with my buddies, you know. And as long as they're doing these things, as in keeping things shut down, and they're not giving the people anything. So it's like they're just like going, well, sorry, we know. Imagine if somebody said, from now on for the next 7 or 8 months, no construction in Thailand. What do you mean no construction? No construction of any kind, because the dust that is generated from people working is too much, and you can get COVID. You know, all the bars and clubs on Soy 7 in Pattaya are for sale or rent. There you go. And I hate to say it again, but this is what happens. And I want to believe, I want to be optimistic. I want to believe that things are going to get better. But you know how it works? And I've said this before. What I have always done is I've come up with 10 ideas, and I've said, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Whether it's on YouTube or not. And I say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I got all these ideas. I come up with 10 ideas. Now, out of the 10 ideas, almost immediately I go, maybe 3 of them are going to fly. And then I start looking at it, and I go, only 2 are really worthwhile. By the time I'm done, I got 1 or 2 things that maybe I can do. And that's exactly what's happening here. They say, let's open, let's do this. And then they go, oh, wait a minute. Maybe that wasn't so smart. We didn't think of that. And, they're dealing with all kinds of organizations and, tourist organizations and the heads of this place and the heads of that place. And these people, you do one thing and then the other person is screaming about it. It's just like in the United States, it's politics. And so now they're suffering. Originally, I believe it was about health. Now I believe it's it's about control. Well, actually, what I think is the control is extreme, while the health risk is minimal. And I just the other day, I don't think I put it up, but I did a little podcast video that was talking about a test in Italy where the average age for somebody who died from the virus was 85 years old. Okay, and there it is. There, the average lifespan of most people is 78 to about 82, maybe. So if you live to be 85 and then you happen to die, I understand that, hey, maybe you go a little bit faster. But you know what? You could go a little bit faster when you walk outside and, you turn around and you get hit by a bus. Now, I do think that a lot of things are about money, and because money is power, money is security, money is stability, money equals the ability to do things that you want to do or need to do. And it also means, a higher standard of living. Thailand does have a higher standard of living than it did when I was just a newbie here, and I had just come over here for the first time. The quality of life here is better for the Thais, in my opinion. But now they're paying for it. They're suffering, and their quality of life is being affected because many people, they still can't work. So what's the point of that? And, you got 85-year-olds dying, 80-year-olds dying. And I understand that, this is a serious issue. I don't want to downplay that because, you know what? For some people, it's serious. Just like the flu is serious for some people. But I think we're going to look back in 20 years. Historians are going to look back at this and go, man, talk about overkill. And then you have the media, which one of the things I was going to talk about today was how now, listen, most every stream that I come on, somebody says something about the virus or about what's going on or the restrictions, almost every single stream. Maybe when I'm out and about, it doesn't happen or it doesn't happen as much. But what is the media going to talk about when they don't have the virus and the political struggle and the turmoil going on because of this and the police attacking people? What are they going to talk about? Entertainment? They're going to talk about Alex Baldwin? Well, that doesn't happen very often. I mean, we're going to talk about Kim Kardashian's big ass. I mean, the bottom line is there's not that many things that are all that important to the masses. You know, well, I do believe we need to take better care of our environment, but if they try to pull this shit with the climate change where they have all these restrictions, I mean, I think the bottom line is he who has the means to live in places that are more free are going to be able to do it. The people who don't, like, listen, if you're living in Klang Tui and you don't have any money and you can't move from there, you're stuck there. You might be stuck there all your life. And so, this is what's happening. Hey, listen, I don't want to, I'm sorry that this stream hasn't gone exactly as planned. And I wish that we would have been able to have Chucky on to talk more about his upcoming trip and what he thinks about everything, because he's pretty reasonable in his assessment of things. But if you wouldn't mind, please go and leave a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Thumbs up, subscribe, check down in the description, get yourself a t-shirt. I got a new version of this t-shirt, which I'm waiting on. It's just a little circle. It's a little more discreet, a little less in your face, if that's what you want. And there's a whole host of other ways that you can help down in the description. I'd appreciate it. Maybe you could become, I got to say, the whole YouTube thing, I would not want to work for YouTube. I mean, I just wouldn't. I don't know what kind of benefits they have and what kind of money they're paying. I'm sure they're paying some people quite well. But man, what a headache. I don't know how they pull it all together, because when you think about it, what an endeavor to be able to do what they're doing and sustain what they're doing. How long can they sustain this website and the number of videos and live streams that go up every single day? I really wonder about that. They never talk about the millions and millions that die from starvation and diarrhea. Well, actually, they do talk about it, but it's not as glamorous as some virus killing off all of mankind. Yeah, who was it? Oh, I know now. The guy who made the movie that I was talking about, it's called Whore's Glory. Okay, the name of the movie is Whore's Glory. And it's a documentary, as I said. If you didn't hear me before, it's related to the prostitution scene, just in specific areas of Thailand, of Bangkok, of Bangladesh, and Mexico. The guy who made the movie was incorrectly diagnosed with typhus, and he had malaria, and he died. He was in Nigeria. I think it was Nigeria. Okay, he was working on a project, and he died like that. So, you don't hear enough about this kind of stuff. But, quite frankly, do you really need to hear about it? If it's a problem, okay, malaria is a huge problem, especially in the African continent. But there are other, the thing is that, you know what it is? We don't need the frickin' news 24/7. We don't need it. That's the bottom line. We don't need it. Send out the newspaper. Okay? Once a day, you put up stuff online. And if you want, hey, you want your online newspaper, this is how you're going to get it. Everybody bands together and says, You're going to have to pay your, $10 a month or whatever it is. And once a day they update, just like they would update a newspaper, because that's not how they work now. Right now, and the same with the television channels. CNN ruined it. At the time, people didn't know it. They thought, oh, wow, great, I can see what the news is at any time. Now I'm like, Jesus Christ, does everybody need to know the news every second of every day? I don't want to know it. TB killed 1.5 million last year. Well, I mean, we could go on and on and on. Heart disease and, Twitter is the new news. I don't even like looking at Twitter most of the time, because if I see news, like, I end up going, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. Think about smallpox. In UK, it's been propaganda from 6 in the morning till 11 at night since January 2020. Therein lies part of the problem. Let me see something here that I was looking at earlier, and I was going to talk about. Okay. This is what I was looking at. The mental illness of Thai society. This was in The Nation. Let's see here. I got to find this. Yeah. Now, it says the mental illness of Thai society. Since seizing power in 2014, the military junta led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha has largely abandoned its promises of sweeping reforms in favor of soft power campaigns like Thai Neom, Thaiism, an effort to promote the ethereal and largely subjective concept of Thainess. On becoming prime minister, Prayut announced his ambition to bridge the decade-old political rift and reunite the country to return happiness to the kingdom. They're not doing very well. And to that end, he has taken to song, film, apparel, and a textbook touting a renewed nationalism and restored morality. Oh, yeah, that's great for guys like me and for my wife, people who are married to foreigners. But scholars contacted for comment by the Sunday Nation believe that junta is presenting history and patriotism in such a way that freedom of expression is threatened. That's the biggie nowadays. It's are your rights threatened? His critics say he's actually serving up little more than propaganda 4 years on, and despite hints from some on either side of the political conflict of willingness to reconcile, the country remains unreformed, deeply divided, and given an economy that lags far behind the rest of Southeast Asia, not particularly happy. In a NITA poll conducted this month, and I talked about this earlier a few days ago, the majority of respondents described their level of happiness as the same or lower than it was 4 years ago before the coup. They cited the struggling economy, lax law enforcement, and restrictions on rights and freedoms. 1 month after the coup, the general penned his first pop song. Now he's a pop artist. Prayut, the pop artist. Sure enough, titled Returning Happiness to the People, which got a lot of airplay on TV and radio. In the years since, we've had five more tunes, with some of his lyrics portraying him as a superhero rushing to the country's rescue. I didn't know about this, but that's pretty hilarious if you think about it. Imagine Biden writing the lyrics to his own song and portraying himself as a superhero. I'm really surprised, and I have to be careful how I say this. I'm really surprised more action has not been taken. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to phrase it. That more actions have not been taken against the leaders of some of these governments around the world. Just think about that. I'm really surprised nothing has happened yet. because you would think with all the angry people out there that maybe something would. But I got rid of all the news feeds on my Facebook account. One wrong word in the comment, and you get banned for bullying or hate speech. I haven't got banned on Facebook yet. I did get suspended for a day on Twitter. I remember that abortion of a song. If you find the right communities and genres, listen, JRD, I'm not going to prop up. I'm not going to prop up Twitter. I don't give a shit how good it may be. Sorry, I'm not propping it up. I'm not giving it any positive feedback. If anything, I think they're a fucking scourge on mankind. I don't think that everybody needs their voice to be heard by millions around the world or thousands around the world. And I'm talking about myself in general as well. I don't really need that. I mean, okay, listen, I come on here, I moderate a little discussion about things, but when it comes down to it, I understand that like my opinion really has very little bearing on on anything. When you think about that. Now, you go onto Twitter, if you're somebody like Joe Rogan or CNN, you see what's going on between them. And CNN, they are just beyond, they are so far gone. Their reputation is dog shit. It's worse than dog shit. Biden can barely feed himself. Yeah, I mean, to me, he's a babbling idiot. Well, good for you, JRD, but I'm going to say that the majority of people find Twitter distasteful. And if they don't, good for them, but I find it distasteful. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and their methodology of who they decide can go on Twitter and who can remain on Twitter leaves something to be desired. When they are talking, when they allow certain organizations, which I'm not even going to mention in this stream, to be allowed to be on their platform, and then they ban somebody like the President of the United States, they've gone too far. They got too much power. Okay. And the guy running the organization, the guy running Facebook, I want to see what Facebook comes up with, because nothing they say is going to make me feel better about them. I have come so close to deleting my Facebook forever. And the only reason I don't is because I still believe that it does help my channel a little bit. And then I got to go, hey, listen, what's more important? What I believe in, or helping my channel a little bit. I mean, maybe my channel would take a hit if I don't use Facebook to promote my streams and my videos or whatever. I don't know, but Twitter, forget about it. And Instagram, listen, Instagram could be very useful, especially for somebody who's a photographer. Now, what I found is that you don't have to upload stuff all the time, because it does get to be, it gets to be time. All this social media eats up at your time. Heard a prediction that in the near future, Chinese will be working in Thailand without a permit. Thanks, Gennaro. Thanks for making me feel better. Stop using Facebook and Twitter 3 years ago. There are the other places if you want to start a normal conversation. Like where? Like on YouTube and Scott Mallon's in his live stream? I mean, because I don't want to go over to like Parler or Gab or any of these others, Because to me, it's like, okay, so you go from one to the other. All right, they may initially allow Discord. I understand Discord is, there's a lot of people that like it. And I don't know. I don't want another social media outlet. I heard Trump started his own, social media platform, and I'm like, okay, good for him, but like, am I going to use it? No, I'm not, because I don't want another social media platform. I don't look at it like I have to be on hundreds of different platforms to promote something. If I got to promote it that much, I don't want to promote it. You know what I mean? And TikTok, forget about it. I get messages sometimes from Longhorns and they have, you know, a TikTok video in it or something, and I'm like, I can't. And I tell you what, a while back uh, I downloaded the TikTok app. I thought I'll check it out. My mother said, "Oh, everybody's using TikTok," and I was like, "Yeah, that's the problem. They shouldn't be." And then, of course, Longhorns. He says he doesn't use it, but he gets videos. And so I said, "Let me check it out." I go on there, and within seconds, I went, "I can't look at this shit. I can't look at it. It's too much. It's too much. I just can't." Not to mention, it's got the whole, you know, Chinese thing. I don't even know if MySpace is around. Um, you know, yeah, I don't want conversation. If I want conversation, I get my conversation here in the stream. Fortunately, I get all the social interaction I need, and if I want, I just go, all right, I'm done. See you guys later, and that's it. You know. Now I got something I wanted to talk about. Something else instead of social media. Now, this morning I just titled this "The Mallon Perspective." Of course, we didn't really get to hear from Sir Charles, and it's a bit, I don't know what the word is, but for me to title it "Thailand According to Sir Charles," but it's my perspective, the Mallon perspective. I've been trying to come up with like a name for like the morning show that the live stream that I do all the time. And I don't want it to be called the morning show or something Mallon in the morning. I don't want that because as Chuck, who was a big radio guy in his day and still has his little fingers, his chubby little fingers in the pie, uh, he told me, he said, well, you know, people watch from all over the place. They don't necessarily think of you as the morning person. So come up with a different name. I don't know what I want to call it. So I'm going to put up a poll or something, but I would appreciate it if you guys would chime in. You chimed in on the name of a boat, which I'm still working on. I'm still looking into that. And I may go on a little journey in the next, you guys might be surprised. I might go on a little journey with Longhorns. I got to talk to them tomorrow about it, where we go and we do a little rafting on the river. We go out into the great wide open in the great outdoors. Well, you can always, you know, you can always tune in. You can always tune in on a podcast, but, you know, I mean, like, all you have to do is go back to YouTube later on and, you know, click play and then listen. Don't look at me, which is why I don't really care if my face is seen. I don't care, you know, if I was young and handsome or what I am. I don't really care about being seen. I don't have to be seen. Mallon's meanderings. Well, meanderings, I guess it could be verbal meanderings, you know, that you're referring to. And I like that. I'm not sure that that is the exact phrase that I want. But thank you, and I will think about that. Yeah, rafting and pie. I've heard good things about that. I've heard. I believe me. There's a list of places. I have a good idea of where to go, but there's just one place in particular, and there's a reason why, and I'll get into that. You know, I got to talk to Longhorns and see what he wants to do, and if he doesn't want to do it, I'll do it after he leaves or whatever. But it'll happen. It will happen. It's just a matter of time. And I dare say, I don't think I'll be wearing a mask uh, on a inflatable raft. Mallon's musings. I did think about musings as well. You know, I don't know. You know, Scott's social series. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe. You know, I got to think about it. Ranting? No, definitely not ranting because I don't only rant. You know, what is the one book I have? Oh, that was Carl Pilkington. Pilkington, The Moaning of Life. That's a great name for a book, especially from him. the moaning of life. We'll call it the moaning of life, but I don't want to steal from somebody like that. So anyway, you can leave a. Yeah, I love him. I love his approach to life. Mallon's moanings. Oh, Gennaro, don't get sexual. We don't want that. This is rated G, baby, or PG. I don't want to use his. I don't want to steal from somebody. It's got to be my own. My own. I say my own when I'm asking for suggestions, but some of them I have thought of, like Mallon's musings, meanderings, blah blah blah. Okay, I thought about just An American in Bangkok, but I don't know that that's going to fly because I'm not always in Bangkok. Maundering? I don't even know what maundering means. Talk in a rambling manner. He maunders through the bank, composing his thoughts. That's different. I don't know that a lot of people, I don't know. I didn't know. I had an idea what the word is, but I was like, I'm not sure, but I had to look it up. Let me look at a synonym of that. Yakety yak. Don't talk back. Meandering mooch. Mooch, I don't like that word. Ask or obtain something without paying for it. No, thank you. I thought maybe it was used in a different context. Mash up with Mallon. Mallon's Republic, like Plato. It's not stealing if it's ancient. The Republic of Mallon? Mallon Island? I don't know. Keep going. I'm going to look through all of them. I'm going to put up a little poll, pick out. I did the espresso in the morning. I don't, listen, I got to say that I drink a lot of espresso, and I told myself I'm cutting back a little bit. Normally, before I even started going, a stream, I'd have 2 double espressos. Then a little bit later in the afternoon, good morning, Robert, I'd have another double espresso. And then maybe later on I'd have another one. That's 4 double espressos. I don't need that many. I need to cut back. Listen, 2 is enough. Because I have been pretty good about it. I go to Starbucks now. I don't drink usually I don't drink an espresso because I drink one at home. So if I go there and I drink one, and then I go, oh, let me just have another. Then the next thing you know, I got 6 shots in me. Mickey Mallon, the Mickey Mallon show, like Mickey Mouse. I don't think that works. Let me go on here about happiness. The Happy Mallon Show. Assistant Professor Pandit Chanrochan. Oh, man. Sometimes I have to practice this a couple times. Assistant Professor Pandit Chanrochanakit, Deputy Dean of Political Science at Chulalongkorn University, likens Prayut's forays into pop culture to U.S. President Donald Trump's devotion to Twitter. Come on. Somehow I think there's a little bit of a difference, but okay, whatever. Prayut's songs, he said flatly, are state propaganda, each one expressing a specific message at a particular time as he deems necessary. The government, imagine that, the government-run TV pool airs his messages daily, forcing the audience to hear his propaganda, and that diminishes our freedom, Pandit said. People with more liberal attitudes just turn it off and turn to alternative channels or the social media where there are young activists performing anti-junta songs. Soon after the first song is released, Prayut followed up with 12 core values of Thailand for primary school pupils to recite either during their daily flag raising ceremony or in class. Now that's just Big Papa, Big Brother, Big Papa, Big Daddy, however you want to phrase it. It's crazy. Happy morning talk. Good morning, Texas Tim. I believe our other Texan, our other friend who happens to be a Texan, is sound asleep, although he may come in shortly. Who knows? And Chuck never wants to come in. He never wants to come into the chat and just type in. I don't know why. Maybe and I think I know why. Because when he sends messages to me by line, most of the time he'll send a message or two, and then all of a sudden I get all these voice recordings because he's too lazy to type in. When he needs to know something about a place, he just goes, do you know about this? Can you find out for me? Because I'm a little busy right now, or whatever it is. I'm outside, or I'm like, so, I get these messages. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's 3 messages, and it's, I got to turn it on and listen to it. He's not the first voice I want to hear early in the morning. No offense there, Chucky, but it'd be good if Bangkok or Thailand was in the title. I don't know if it would be good, Tom, to be honest, because what if I move? What am I going to do? Change the name of the show? Hi, I'm Scott. I'm an American in the Grand Cayman Islands. The Handsome Man Show. Now, there's a good one. Hello, Handsome Man. It's the Hello, Handsome Man Show. Rambling with Mallon. I like to be able to put on, the Allman Brothers, Ramblin' Man. There you go, right there. Ramblin' Man. The Ramblin' Man Show? Nah, it doesn't work. I'm just not sure about putting the Bangkok or Thailand in the title, but it might work. That might be the best way. And then if I move, I just change it to something else. What is this? I was gonna say the American in Bangkok hour. Well, it's actually like 2 or 3 hours. I try to keep it under 2. But the Going Gray show. No, that's not gonna work. You got to leave a little something to the imagination. How about the Crusty Old Man or something like that, And then you're going to get people who are truly old. They're going to be going, he's just a kid. Who's he kidding? He's not that old. Maybe I'm an old soul. I don't know. Anyway, let me see what else I got on here. Chucky, he must be out and about, and he didn't want to come back in, or who knows what's going on with him. Let's see here. Okay, so let me just finish up with this, the Bangkok bars, because there is more in the article. It says, now as the clock ticks down to the reopening, customers at Teens sample the experimental Kratom drinks menu. 1 sips of mango and lime concoction served in a cup made of beeswax with honey foam. The slightly bitter tang of the Kratom balanced out by the fruity sweetness. Down the bar, Poured 40 tries his first Kratom drink, the Tiger Ear, which features garlic, brine, lime, and soda. It tastes like a sour plum. It's refreshing. Okay. All right. So, you got to do what you got to do to stay in business, to keep afloat. But let me get back to Prayut. The grumpy old man. There you go, the rambling man. Yeah. All right. So, he's putting out all these different songs. It was intended as a moral guide. The persisting problems in Thailand that need to be solved urgently require inclusive cooperation from people of all levels, gender, and age, the premier said. He sounds like a guy following China's model. That's my opinion. I believe that. And I haven't said this in a while, but I used to say that Thailand wanted to follow Singapore's model, and I said that because they want to be a business hub. They want to be a country that's viewed as quite affluent. And most people, I don't know. I guess it depends on who the people are, but I think people who really don't know much about Thailand still think of Thailand as uh, a third world nation and a country that is mired in poverty, and that's just not true. But I think when you look at how I used to talk, even before I came on to YouTube, and I was always saying, I think they're modeling themselves after Singapore because they want to be affluent, they want to be viewed in a positive light in the rest by the rest of the world. And now I don't think they're trying to pattern themselves after Singapore. I think they're trying to pattern themselves after the Chinese. And in fact, I would dare say that who knows that maybe when they talk, when the leaders of each country talk, that may, and you got to know they probably are in communication with each other every once in a while. That maybe Prayutis picked a few things up from China, or just from viewing what China is doing. Maybe he's picked up a few things that he likes, and that's why he's doing these kind of things. Who knows? Up to Mallon. I love how he always leaves out corruption, police reform. Yeah. There you go. Scott the Rambling Man. I like Rambling Man, but I just don't think it works in the title. I don't know. Now, the 12 values include upholding the 3 pillars of nation, religion, and monarchy. Okay. I'm not even going to go there. But that in itself, right there, I look at that and I go, respecting elders and teachers. Okay, that's very good. Pursuing education in every form. Okay. Preserving traditions and understanding the democratic ideals under the auspices of His Majesty the King. The Office of the Prime Minister next recruited 12 movie directors to make a series of short Thai Nayom films, a cinematic variation of his efforts to foster a new identity. They echoed the 12 values, as did specially printed stickers for the phone app line. I didn't see those. Maybe because I don't really look. And quite frankly, I get tired of those little stickers. The Education Ministry set out to coach students in civic duty, discipline, morality, and patriotism. Wait a minute, aren't parents supposed to do all this kind of stuff? Aren't they the ones who are supposed to do this? Or what, now the government? See, this is what I mean. Big Daddy, Big Papa, Big Brother, whatever you want to call it. Singapore has zero tolerance for corruption, graft, bribery, drugs. He'd much rather have a CCP model than. Well, you say they have zero tolerance for corruption and graft and bribery. However, I know for a fact that it it takes place all the time there. Kratom has active ingredients, unlike the marijuana drinks. Well, all the marijuana stuff going around now, it's just a bunch of horse shit. It's just you're basically, you get the herb. It doesn't mean you get the herb that gets you high. It means you get the flavor of the leaf, and that's about it. And I forget what I saw the other day, and I was walking around, and it was like in your face, and I was like, big deal. And this is another thing too. Listen, if they legalize that, then boy, they open themselves up for a host of problems, even though they will be generating a huge amount of tax. A book issued by the junta in October 2015, History of the Thai Nation, stirred criticism with its claim the military had succeeded where elected governments had failed by establishing true democracy in Thailand. Oh, I gotta laugh at that. I have to laugh. I don't think anywhere has true democracy, to be completely honest. I think, you know, you can strive for it, but most of the time it's a facade. Respected historians objected, describing the claim as state ideology rather than history. And I don't need to comment any more about it. Bureaucrats writing history doesn't work, said one of them. Sunayit Chutintaran on of the civil service produced text. It leads to further conflict. Writing, I didn't know he was so involved. I didn't know the extent that he went to. I knew he was doing these things, but I didn't know to what extent. Writing history takes time and requires an exchange of ideas among both history academics and independent experts. Chulalongkorn political science assistant professor Dr. Pitch Pongsawat said the book at least served as historical evidence, recording that the junta leader Prayut used the culture to issue propaganda. The culture ministry, to issue propaganda. By entering this into the historical record, they shame themselves in public. Ooh! Ooh! This is good. This is good stuff here. If you want to know about Thailand and the inner workings of it, yeah, this is pretty good. All right, once again, rack them thumbs up, please. Get them thumbs up, Bangkok. Thumbs up, Thailand. David Cho. What was it? Thumbs up, America, or whatever the hell it was. I used to do that on Vice, when Vice was actually Vice. Thumbs up, Thailand. Hey, there you go. There's the name of a podcast or a live stream. Thumbs up, Thailand. It's pretty good, huh? Not bad. All right, let me continue here. The junta, however, had little trouble convincing citizens to dress more often in traditional clothing and visit heritage sites. It was aided enormously in this campaign by the popular television period drama Pupesan Nivas, Love Destiny. Hang on a second. This is too funny. It's been an interesting phenomenon. It's got the younger generation watching TV soaps again, noted Assistant Professor Yukti Mukdal. Oh, man. Yukti Mukdawicitra. Mukdawicitra. That one's a little harder. Mukdawicitra. Say that 5 times fast. Mukdawicitra, a lecturer in sociology and anthropology at Thammasat University. It reflects nostalgia, a yearning for the past, especially for the good old days. I know about that. But the belief that the past was better than the present has been linked to biases in memory. Well, that's true as well. Here you go. Things are not necessarily always, they were not always better in the past than they are now. Although I have fond memories of the past politically, even though I was not nearly as in the know, which I still don't think I'm all that in the know, but I was less in the know then than I was now, and that's probably a good thing. It shows the mental illness of our society, Yukti said. Today we're living in conflict, especially on the political front. Watching comical shows and fantasy soaps can temporarily heal people's hearts. In reality, we remain divided, and the fantasy is that we are united. Wow. That's pretty heavy, man, coming from a Thai professor. Assistant professors, excuse me. Still, that's pretty heavy duty, man, when you think about it. Let me read that again. It shows the mental illness of our society, Yukti said. Today, we're living in conflict, especially on the political front. Watching comical shows and fantasy soaps can temporarily heal people's hearts. So can the rap god. In reality, we remain divided, and the fantasy is that we are united. Man, that's that's pretty heavy duty, you know. Um, so these professors and historians are calling out Pryute at every turn. They know what it sounds like, and like I said, um, it's gaslighting at its finest, and it doesn't just take place here; it's taking place everywhere. I mean, look at the Biden administration. They can't even they say things, and it's like people are just going, "Man, you're so full of shit." I mean, the average person is going, "You are so full of shit, and we know it. Stop lying to us." But of course they don't. You know, it's lie after lie. No, no, no. What you saw is not what you get. It's different. Same, but different. Well, yeah, yeah. I went down to the border. Yeah, that was me. Really? I just, it's not a, if you want to think about politics, to me, it's about one of the worst times. The last few years have been the worst times in American history, or in a long time in America's history. And hopefully some change will come from it. That's my wish. I almost have a problem going back there, but I don't. I will go back there because I know it's short term. But like, if it was to change any and get any worse there, I don't know. It'd be hard for me to go there. You know, um, and while, yeah, I mean, I'll always be American. I'll always be American, and there's a lot to see there and to do there, and it's home, and I got family there and friends, and um, after all these years, I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. I mean, really, there's very few things I miss. I miss my mother's cooking. I miss, certain dishes that are specific to that area. I miss the whole vibe in southern Florida and in the Keys. Um, but I don't miss it so much that I'm like, I gotta go home. I'm just not there. The problem for the ruling class is that the internet is calling them out and they don't like it. There you go. That is about it. And the thing is that the internet has given voices, as I said, to many people, and in some cases it's a useful tool for sure, but in many cases it's just a bunch of people whining and crying and blathering on, or speaking about things that need to be spoken about, and yet nothing ever happens because of it. Look at what CNN did and what they've said about Joe Rogan, and yet they're getting away with it. They're getting away. And now he's called them out, and what did he say about Don Lemon? He's full of shit, or he's fucking lost his mind, or something like that. And those guys, they're shills. That's what they are. That's what they'd be called in the old days, shills. They'll say anything, do anything, whether it's true or not, as long as they're getting paid and they got a paycheck. And I mean, what do you think Basaki is? She's a shill. You got to say this. You got to say that. Oh, okay. Whatever you say. I want to keep my job, you know. Whereas she's often called Peppermint Patty. Gennaro, why you keep retracting your messages, man? You don't have to retract them. Don't be shy. All right, let's keep going here. Let's just keep going. We got a little bit of time left. Let's keep going. I do like that, though. I really like that. Now, I got to say, if ever there was an example of someone showing that coming to Thailand uh, as a tourist is the way to go, and he's getting he's being treated very, very well. Not that other people aren't, but I would say he's getting the red carpet treatment. Um, and I don't know, if he was to live here, he probably still would, because people know he's, well, very affluent. But Russell Crowe has been in the news here in Thailand, and he met with the ambassador for Australia to Thailand, and also the culture minister Itipon Kunplum. They met on Saturday, and they met so that the culture minister could thank Russell Crowe for helping promote Thailand by posting positive comments on Twitter. Now, listen, I understand he's Russell Crowe, and a lot more people, far, far more people know him than know me. I would say that although I will tell the truth and I will speak straight, as they say here, about what I think about Thailand, and it's not always good. I also do say many, many positive things about Thailand. So when's the culture minister going to give me a buzz and let me come meet him? Crowe blew up the Thai Twitter scene with his complimentary comments since his arrival on Phuket on September 18th. He is here to film the Vietnam War era blockbuster, The Greatest Beer Run Ever. Australian ambassador to Thailand, Alan McKinnon, was also present at the meeting at Bangkok's Mandarin Oriental Hotel. Now, you see, if Longhorns and I had been down in that area, which we were there, last week or so, and we decided, let's go into the Oriental and let's have a little coffee. We might have run into Russell Crowe and said, "Hey, what's happened? Gladiator." You never know. Government spokesman Thanakorn Wangbun, boy, they're giving me some long names today. Wangbun Kong Chana told the press on Sunday that the prime minister wanted Itipon to convey his gratitude to the actor for promoting local tourist attractions in the Phuket Sandbox scheme. The premier also sent Crowe flowers and gifts in appreciation. Now, he's taking a selfie with, I think, what is Itipon and also Alan McKinnon. Is that my dog barking? And Russell Crowe is holding up his phone, and he's taking a selfie. And I could swear that is an old iPhone, and it's all beat up, and it's not a new iPhone. So it just goes to show you, like, Russell Crowe doesn't believe he's got to go out and get himself an iPhone 13 as soon as they come in and become available, just so that he can be cool. Crowe thanked the premier for the gifts and said he was impressed by the welcoming nature of Thai people. Yes. Added that he loved Thai cuisine. Yes. And the country's natural beauty. Yes. He also voiced admiration for the Thai film crew's professionalism and skills. Apart from picking up a few words, here's I find this kind of humorous. Apart from picking up a few Thai words from the minister, Crowe also said Thailand should have more signposts in English, especially in places popular with foreign tourists. The Greatest Beer Run Ever, which also stars Zac Efron, will be directed by Oscar-winning filmmaker Peter Farrelly. So there you have it. He thinks there should be more signposts in Thailand that are in English, which that's kind of surprising to me, to be honest. I don't know. I never thought about it, to be completely honest, because I look at it, I see English quite often, and then, if there is a sign that doesn't have English and it's in Thai, usually I just read it. But, if you're a tourist coming here, it probably stands out to you. You're like, which way am I supposed to go? Left or right? I don't know. I never even thought about that. I mean, I haven't thought about that in years, to be honest, because I really haven't had any problems with it. But I'm going to keep an eye out and look at the signs now and see just how bad it is, or, how good it is. Government making a PR stunt. Well, Never let it be said that they turn away a PR opportunity. And it's good that he's having a good time here. I know he went to J-Fi the other day, and I've been meaning to go there for quite some time. Oops, and I have not done so, but I will at some point. That's another place to go. I got all kinds of stuff to do. Let's see here. Got plenty of places to go and things to do now. Hopefully that works. Anyway, where are we for time now? An hour and 50 minutes. All right, so we got about 10 minutes left. As I said, do me a favor, leave me your idea for a name of a live stream show / podcast. Leave your idea. You can do it right now in the chat, or you can leave it in the comments. What I'll do is I'll take some of these names, I'll kick around a few of them, and I'll put a poll in the next day or so, and maybe by the end of the day, I'll put something up asking for your thoughts to choose one, and then hopefully that will pick a good name. But there were several good ones in here. Grumpy Dude in Bangkok. Thank you very much, Jannar. Well, I don't think I'm all that grumpy. I mean, yes, sometimes, but I like Up to Mallon also. Up to Me. That's another good one. Up to you, up to me. Up to you. Maybe right. Mallon's Misanthrope. Yes, I like that one too. American in Bangkok. Mallon's Republic. I would almost like that, but I don't know about Republic. That's along the same line because it does denote that maybe it's kind of a community. Although it's not a massive community, but it's a community nevertheless, I guess. So, anyway, let's see what else is going on here. No. Yeah, there are flood warnings going on right now, which that might make some kind of a difference if you're trying to go down a river. Some major dams have been told to discharge water to make room for heavy rain expected from an upcoming storm this week, according to the Office of National Water Resources. The ONWR and the Thai Meteorological Department are keeping watch on a storm brewing from a low-pressure front. If it develops into a tropical storm, it is expected to unleash heavy rains in parts of the country from October 29th through October 31st, said the ONWR deputy spokesman Tanarach Wararat. Man. Wararat Prasert. Sometimes they're easy and sometimes they're not. It will be the 7th storm to hit the country this rainy season. The previous storm, Kompasu, drenched much of the northeast after making landfall in Vietnam in the middle of this month. With the latest storm alert, the Royal Irrigation Department, RID, has been asked to release some water from the large dams in preparation for the forecast downpours. Rainfall has generally increased throughout the country, Mr. Tanarach said. The rainy season is predicted to wind down this month or early next month. Water in dams and reservoirs nationwide stand at a combined 59,920 million cubic meters, with 17 dams and reservoirs 80% above capacity. Wow. They're being closely monitored. That doesn't bode very well, 80% plus capacity. The ONWR's advanced team was out inspecting the water situation in the Ta Chin River, which I've talked about a little bit, through which floodwater was being emptied into the sea. To alleviate the effects of the floods, the RID is diverting excess water from the river to the large Po Praya field covering Utong and Muang district of Suphanburi, which has been set aside as a water catchment area. Interesting, huh? At present, floods remain in 15 provinces: Konkan, Chayapum, Mahasarakam, Nakhon Ratchasima, Buridam, Sisaket, Lopburi, Singburi, Suphanburi, Angthong, Ayutthaya, Pathum Thani, Nakhon Pathom, Prachinburi, and Sakale. According to the ONR, floods triggered by the overflowing Chao Phraya River, which receives water from the north, have shown sign of easing in the next few days. Oh, okay. So in the next few days, they should ease up a little bit. Oh, okay. Very good. All right. So there we are. That concludes another wonderful day in the neighborhood here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Once again, I'm very sorry that Sir Charles was not able to come in and we couldn't get it to work. Usually that doesn't happen. We can usually square it away, but who knows what the issue is. I'm going to try to talk to him after the stream and see if we can work something out. Maybe he can come back on Wednesday. I don't know. Depends on if I can get it to work. But that about wraps it up for the day. I appreciate everybody watching and joining in. Streaming with Scott. That's a possibility. Although that would kind of defeat the purpose if I was to make this into a podcast. I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, tomorrow, join me. I'll be with Longhorns, and I will be in the ancient city. I'll either be on the way and in the ancient city, or I'll be at the ancient city. We're going to try to get there bright and early. Lots to see there. Very different. Should be a good stream. It'll be a long stream because we're going to need the time to get there and get settled and to walk around. There's a lot to see and do. And, we're planning on having lunch there and everything. And it should be pretty cool. It's an interesting place. We may go by foot or we may go by golf cart. I don't really know. But we'll see. So that's what the fun is of being live, is you never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen. So thank you very much. Once again, please leave a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe. The numbers are going up slowly but surely, and I appreciate that very much. If you want to help support the channel, get yourself a shirt, get one of my books. Any thoughts on the Thailand river tour? Well, actually, Dowlow, there's a fairly good chance that next weekend, give or take a day, Longhorns and I will be going to a river. I'm not going to let it out now. I mean, if you want, I'll tell you offline, but we're going to go to a river that is, it's not one of the more visited places, but it's supposed to be very, very good there. And we may go just for like the day and do a little, because what I want to do is I want to start getting ready, start going to places and doing this just for a few hours each time, just learning a little bit more and then trying to figure out and talk to people about if we were to try to do a long trip down, whether it's the Ping or whatever river it is that bangs into the Chao Phraya. It doesn't really matter. But I think now is the time to start doing the research and to getting involved and to getting a little more physically fit so that I can do it. I don't want to do it off the sofa. So, there are things happening, but it's going to take time. It may be the middle of next year when this happens, if it happens, but when it happens. But at the very least, I'll do a few trips with Longhorns and also by myself. Going down a river. There are plenty of places to go here in Thailand. So, anyway, that's all I have. I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok D, Leo Jerken Mai. That's good luck. And until next time, see you later. I'll see you when I see you. The end.